Hello, my name is Jamil Al-Jawish. I'm the Sales and Marketing Director here at Cambridge Finance, and today we have the pleasure of Maria Wiedner with us. Maria, thank you.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here today talking to you about Cambridge Finance. Normally, I'm the interviewer or the panel moderator, but it's great to be here as an interviewee as well and answering some questions about Cambridge Finance. So thank you, Jamil, for interviewing me today.
Maria, I have to ask, what actually drove you to bring Cambridge Finance to life?
That's a great question, Jamil. Because as we started, I was like, okay, what is the main aim for Cambridge Finance? And what I really wanted to do was to change the industry and really help people working real estate understand more finance. Because I came from the financial background, so my career started in the financial industry. I was working for the London Stock Exchange. I worked for the Financial Times. I worked for hedge funds. I worked for banks. I worked for investment companies. And as I transitioned to real estate, I realized that the financial knowledge of our industry was lacking, especially in terms of the investment side and also the valuation side. And even these days, like the surveying industry is still lacking in terms of robust understanding and how the financial industry works. So I wanted to bring this knowledge that I have gathered over many years in the financial industry to real estate, to the built environment, because the built environment is a huge part of our economy. And if we improve the level of knowledge in our industry, we are also improving the level of experience of the people using the built environment, which is everybody. So I set up Cambridge Finance with this idea of doing a training company and also consultancy to help build this knowledge in the industry that is pretty much the gap between finance and real estate. So my aim really is to bring financial knowledge to the real estate industry, but at the same time bring real estate knowledge to the financial industry, because those kind of silos, they're still not talking to each other. The financial industry thinks that property is just a land that it only goes up, whereas the property people, most of the time, they don't understand what an IRR, what a net cash flow is. So I really want to demystify all those concepts for both sides of the investment table, the financial table as such. So that's how Cambridge Finance came about.
Okay, understood. And would you say that you are the bridge between the two, the finance world and the real estate world?
I hope so. And this is what I'm striving to do over 7 years. This is where our credibility has been built on, that I have been able to translate those financial knowledges into real estate, pretty much jargon and concepts that they are used to a lot of times in our industry. And I've been pretty much in this case study of making valuers understand a little bit more what a discounted cash flow is. And there has been a pushback about what kind of valuation method, because even the DCF, the discounted cash flow method, was not very well understood by the valuation profession. So therefore, my aim really is to demystify, say, okay, this is financial concepts, I understand it, but us as an industry, we need to understand this, because property more and more has become a financial asset. It is an asset now. It's not only a buy and hold kind of situation that you just have a building that you buy and then receive rents and then has a residual value at the end. It's pretty much an asset that, the big private equity companies, the big the pension funds, the big insurance companies, and even like private wealth families, they will invest in property as a way to maintain their wealth or improve the amount of the leverage that they have in terms of what the money can buy. So that's pretty much has changed the way the industry has shaped up. And I hope this is what I'm trying to bring to our industry, that we have changed, we are changing all the time, and therefore we need to be more aware of what does financial analysis mean? What is a property as an asset class?
So, Maria, I've got to ask, why financial modeling? What steered you in the direction of financial modeling?
The reason why I chose financial modeling as our main differentiation in the consultancy and training industry for the built environment was because investment cases, so if you want to buy a property and you want to make money out of property, you need to understand where the value lies. And you can't just do that by gut feeling. I know a lot of people are still doing this, but it's not the professional way, it's not the institutional way to invest money. So if you work, for example, in a pension fund, how can you justify buying millions, hundreds million, billions sometimes worth buildings and just put the money there because of gut feeling? So a financial model, especially if you build it from scratch, especially if you understand what is the cash flow like, what are the assumptions that go into it? Is it cash flow in advance, is it cash flow in arrears, what are the yields, what is the discount rates? If you understand the assumptions, you will be able to provide a better investment case with a quantitative analysis, with financial analysis, robust financial analysis, because there is no way you can communicate your investment cases, where the value lies, where the money is coming from, and where it's going to, how you're making money out of it, without going through a financial model. And the way I chose to address the bridge between finance and real estate was through financial modeling, and especially in Excel, because if you are going to be an investor, you will need to do these calculations, and you can't just do a kind of rent divided by a yield, or the NOI divided by cap rate, if you're going to invest the real money in property. So therefore, if you understand what a financial model is and how you calculate financial returns, and you understand and you know how to put this in a quantitative basis. And the reason why I chose Excel is because it is a very cheap, everybody is virtually free, everybody has access to either Excel or Google Sheets or any other numbers, or it's very easy to have access to it. So if you understand with simple formulas, with simple concepts, you can make sure that your investment case stacks up. So then you don't have this kind of investments that you just buy something because you feel like owning it. Of course, there are people that will do it because they have too much money, but that's not the people that we're addressing. We're people that we want to talk to are the people that want to understand financial analysis, and they want to make it robustly. They want to understand, they want they want to be the next level. They want to be analytical. They want to see where the money is coming from, and also what the risks around these investments and how to communicate this risk. So a financial model is very important in the sense that you will really make sure that you understand all the investment process, because you can't just leave something there without understanding. Of course, there are a lot of people that will use not a financial model as a black box in itself, but that's not our aim. Our aim is really to make sure that everybody understands the assumptions, they build from scratch, they understand the logic of financial models, they understand the logics of the investment.
So, a question that comes to mind on that note would be, how would a financial model mitigate risk for those investing others' money?
That's a good question, because the way I look at financial model is a way to tell the investment story, right? So we need to make sure that with the financial model, we are able to quantitatively analyze this investment, and are being able to run different scenarios in a quantitative way. So it's for us to do quantitative analysis, and with the quantitative analysis, we can measure risk. And quantitative risk is very important in the financial industry, and it should be essential in the property industry as well. So you should be able to see with the simple spreadsheet, what are the what if scenarios? What happens if the interest rate goes up again and it's going to be from 5% to 10%? What happens if the other way around? What happens, right? And then you can try to play around with this what if scenarios and see, okay, what does the future look like? And then this is the way to mitigate risk. You can understand, given your analytical thinking, what will be the outcomes from a quantitative perspective. So it's very important. So one thing that I always say to my students is that it's very important that you understand the logic of financial model, because without the logic of understanding a financial model, you won't be able to answer any of those questions. You're just going to say there, okay, the internal rate of return is 10%, 20%. And if the interest rates go up by 1%, then your IRR is going to go down by whatever percent. It's not what we're trying to do. We want people really to understand what is the impact of the change in interest rates in your investment. And with the help of a financial model, communicate this risk. And therefore, if investors understand the risks, understands the impact of those changing variables will have in people's investments, this is what is going to mitigate the risk. It's not the financial model itself, but it's the logic behind it. What is the probability of, changing environment and interest rate? What is the probability of rents going up and down? Can you look at supply and demand and answer the question? These are things that the financial model help you answer the question, but the logic is really what goes into the financial model. So the spreadsheet alone, any model alone won't reduce or increase the risk, but by looking at it and by the analysts understanding what they're saying, that's what is going to reduce the risk.
So Maria, how do you use AI or implement AI into streamlining your processes and understanding risk?
It's a great question. Using AI, generative AI, in real estate investment analysis has really improved the way that I deal with data, especially. So, for example, now, in order to get data, especially from tenants, the tenancy schedules or comparables, it's a lot easier to deal with those data, even in terms of formatting or downloading data tables. It's a lot easier to use Gen AI to do that for me. And so this is the dealing with data with Gen AI, ChatGPT, Claude. And every time I see people talking about Gen AI, it's like, oh, but that's the name. That's another. It's another AI there. But actually, it's like the old. So nowadays they're called ChatGPT. They're called Claude, my Copilot, and so on. So the way to use that is really like streamline processes that were very boring before, like collecting data, transposing data, comparing data. So in this sense, the Gen AI has really changed the way I use it. And then the other thing is when I don't know some answers. So, for example, I wanted to find a way um, to get data. Like I was copying and pasting a lot of data from websites. So now, like with Gen AI, I'm able to get this data a lot quicker. So this really helps me like to like in terms of processes, improve the way I deal with it. In terms of the Excel model and in terms of financial modeling, forecasting itself, I need to be very, very careful because with Gen AI, if you don't understand how Gen AI got to the answer, and you just want an answer, you just want an internal rate of return, you just want a net present value, then it's absolutely fine to get to this answer. Gen AI will give you an answer. But if you're interested in how this answer came about and if it's accurate And if the numbers are right or wrong, then the ChatGPT of this world won't help you because it's just going to give you an answer and you don't know how this answer came about. So in that case, for me, using is Gen AI to do that is not very relevant because I don't know. I don't know what kind of, if I give exactly like a very simple commands, then it will give you some answers, but then sometimes this answer is pretty much hallucination, or the number that he gave was wrong, but I can't find why it's wrong. So if there are answers for that I don't know how to get to this answer, or if I don't care how this answer came about, then Gen AI really helps me. But if I want to understand the process, which is normally when I talk about like the investment process, I want to know um, why you got to a certain IRR, for example. What happens if I change the rent profile or the tenant profile? What happens when this things move? Then I still need a financial model to forecast that because it is a lot more robust in terms of analysis. But once you have this analysis and you have lots of this analysis and you want to just say, okay, ChatGPT, these are all the models that I have, and these are the answers. Can you make an investment case of what do you think is the best investment case here? What is the best property that I should buy? What is the one that is the best? You can ask ChatGPT for their opinion, and again, this is up to you to then say, okay, I understand. I know what I need, I know what I want, so therefore I agree or disagree. But you need to understand first what Excel is telling you, what ChatGPT is telling you, what Claude is telling you, in order for you to say, okay, I agree or disagree. And then, but it's incredible how AI is really helping the analytical process these days. Yeah.
So, Maria, it seems like you've got a lot of expertise in this field. Give me a little bit more about your academic background.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's great question in terms of my background. Because I graduated, my first degree was a bachelor's in business administration back in Brazil, my home country. I am from Brazil. Nobody says I'm from Brazil. They always think I'm from the Far East because my parents are actually of Japanese heritage. And I did a bachelor degree in Brazil in business administration with a major in finance. Before that, I studied in Finland as well, so I do speak Finnish, and I speak Portuguese, my mother tongue, and I studied there my bachelor's degree. After I finished my bachelor's, then I went to do environmental economics in Vienna, and then once I finished the master in environmental economics, I thought I was going to save the world, and then I started working for the United Nations, and then nothing wrong with the public sector, but that was when I realized that it was not the way I was going to save the world. And then I moved to London and started working the industry that actually changes the world, which is the stock exchange. Funnily enough, for the capitalists out there, this is the how I started. I worked in the financial industry, so I was working there. And then I also did a master's in real estate finance in Cambridge at University of Cambridge, and that's actually why I have the name of the company Cambridge Finance, because I set up the company when I was studying Cambridge. And but I didn't set up the company straight away. I was leaving Cambridge because before I set up Cambridge Finance, I went back to the industry after I graduated from the University of Cambridge. I went back to to practice. I'm practicing real estate investment, and I was working. I was trying to save the world again, and I was doing investment analysis in sustainable energy, so pretty much renewable energy, so geothermal, wind farms, solar farms, and then from there I went on to work in equity analysis. And then from the equity analysis job that I had, working for a brokerage firm, sell side brokerage firm, that's when I realized that I wanted to set up Cambridge Finance, because as an equity analyst, I was pretty much involved in telling, like the investment community in the public market about real estate. And then I've realized that a lot of people investing in real estate didn't know much about real estate, but having a background in real estate, I realized a lot of people in our industry did understand about finance. So really, like Cambridge Finance, going back, is not really much of an academic side, but that's like how the academics really came about, that I was like, okay, let me use part of my academic background in order to help the industry, like bridge really the gap between finance and real estate. And this is what I've been doing. In terms of more academic, I'm also a professor at IE in Spain. I've been teaching there real estate finance. I'm in the third group now, the third year, doing the master's in real estate development. And in terms of not academic but professional qualifications, I'm also a CFA charter holder and a chartered surveyor, MRCS. So I've been studying quite a bit. Now I study in order to help people understand what they need for their jobs. So it's not so much on the academic side, even though I'm still in academia in IE. But my job is pretty much the researching, the studying, in order to help others to achieve the level of understanding of financial analysis or property that they need in order to succeed in their careers, right? And then recently as well, like we've been helping companies directly, not only on the training side, but also in terms of deploying processes in their investment processes as well, like in building financial models for them, building valuation models, financial models for valuation purposes, or creating processes that will help them streamline the whole analysis of real estate. So even though you asked me about the academics, but I just wanted to give you a broader answer of like my background and how my background is helping the industry moving forward, hopefully.
So, looking ahead, what's next for Cambridge Finance, and where do you see the industry going in the next 5, 10 years?
I see we're changing a lot. I think AI is really putting our questions out there for people to answer, for AI to answer, and I think we will become more and more analytical. There is no way that we can just use the same systems, the same methods you've been using in the past in order um, to move forward. We have AI, we have drones, we have digital twins for property out there. There's a lot going on in terms of technology. So we want to help our professionals really transition to this new AI enabled, virtual enabled system that we are seeing there. We can't just have professionals that will just think about comparables, or just thinking about very basic, uh, you know, all yields that we call all risks yields. We will have to be a lot more analytical. So that's where I see the transition coming from, really technically, analytically enabled professionals, because the industry is becoming more and more competitive. Nowadays, you can't just be good in Excel. Those were the days that we have somebody doing a financial model and somebody, getting this model and making decisions based on these models. Now, if you want to make decisions, you have to understand what the financial model is doing. You have to be able to build one from scratch, because it's by building one from scratch that you understand the investment process, that you understand the risks, that you understand where the numbers are coming from and where you're going to, and really have a more holistic perspective. There is no way that the jobs now are going to be just so siloed that one person is going to do just the data entry and the other one is just going to look at this data and make the decisions. Like, you will have a lot more dynamic professions now, that it will have to be what in the development industry called the full stack. So we'll have to become the full stack surveyor. We'll have to become the full stack investor that is not only about having the relationships that we used to have, and we used to rely on those relationships. Nowadays, our industry is pretty much relational, and it's very important to have these relationships. But if you want to be an institutional investor, if you want to be a professional investor, if you want to give recommendation, and if you want to grow because you have the relations and analytics in yourself, then you will have to, really be this person that will be able to talk AI, you will be able to talk a programming language, you will be able to talk IRR, but you also be able to talk about different languages as well. You have to talk not only languages in terms of Spanish, English, German, Chinese, Arabic, but you also have to speak the languages of the institutional investors, of the private investors, of the retail investors. You will have to be a lot more communicative in that sense. So this is what I think our industry is going, and this is where I think the opportunities are for Cambridge Finance as well, where we enable everybody that comes through our program to be able to really leverage this communication skills, this logic, in order to become the person for the future, the person that everybody wants to hire, the person that is really have the relationship, the communications, the analytical skills, skills, and the logic as well of real estate investment finance, but also the built environment. Is this a good building? Is this a sustainable building? Is it a green building? What does a green building mean? Climate risk, it's very important. How can you investigate climate risk in your investment process? How are you going to make sure that your building is resilient, right? So all this, people need to be prepared. It's not only the relationship you had, is not only about the simple spreadsheet that you had. You can't rely on one method of valuation. You can't rely on just the same way to do the same thing. It's not going to work anymore.
Given the industry changes, why should people pick Cambridge Finance over other providers?
Because of us. I truly believe it, because the people that are in Cambridge Finance is an incredible team. So I have a lot of experience in the real estate industry, in the financial industry, and I make sure that I translate everything that I understand in applicable format. So we have a lot of work on the background with our clients, either building models, either placing funds, underwriting funds. We are doing valuation work. We're building financial models for large valuation companies already. And we are still very much feeling the real estate industry, not only in the UK, but also continental Europe, the Middle East, the Far East. We work, even though we are in the UK, we work very much internationally. We have a big reach, and I'm very proud of what we have achieved, because this credibility, it was not easy. Didn't We've been in the market for 7 years now, so it was built pretty much based on the very ethical work that we do, that we understand the client's problems, and also we help the clients not only solve the problem but understand the logic of why they had the problems the same in the first place, and at the same time help them solve the problems long term, because it's not only just because once we build a model for a client, for example, it is a tool, is a process that they can help, and then not only a financial model, but we can also translate this financial model in a system, because if they have a system in place, they can be a lot more efficient, they can be a lot more rational about their decisions that they are making. So this is pretty much why I think people should choose Cambridge Finance, is because we are helping a lot of our clients. We are translating, even without disclosing who the clients are, the work that we've done for them, but we are still feeling the market, and we are able to demystify very complex jobs in training programs, because we understand what the client needs, we understand what the industry needs, and we have firsthand experience. So our team are very experienced professionals. All of us have worked in the industry for many years. We're still working in the investment industry, and we can translate it. We can relate to everybody that is coming to our courses, everybody that is coming as a client in our consultancy side. And we are not just an Excel provider, for example. We really want people to understand the logics of real estate. We're not just a generalist property provider. We are pretty much real estate finance provider on the training side, on the consultancy side, and we can really deliver on the understanding of people and what we have understood of the industry in training courses. So that's why people should choose us, because we are seasoned professionals, we have a lot of experience, and we can help people really demystify all the jargon in both sides, the real estate side and finance side.
Maria, it's been a pleasure. It's clear that you're paving the way in real estate education. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Jamil. Thanks for interviewing me, but thank you for joining Cambridge Finance and believing in our aim as well, believing our future. So thank you for that. And thank you for listening.
So for anyone who's watching, who is serious about accelerating their career in real estate, Cambridge Finance is a place that you need to be. Thanks for your time.